Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Marc's taking down Christmas decorations, and this is Smokey Steve and Marc. Welcome or welcome back. It is the weekend, so I have a new supply of Coffee Mate butterscotch creamers and a little almond milk. Very, very good. Marc won a year supply of that Coffee Mate stuff. It's fantastic. So, we are going to check in once again with our friend, our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me. She's had a very active week, actually. There was about 7 or 8 videos, including a live stream, I think 2, that we went over. Now, I have to say, I've been following this other couple for the last couple weeks. Chantal is a friggin' breath of fresh air. I almost found her likable several times during this. Not almost, I did. I found her likable several times during this. However, there were a few points of contention that I took. So, let's just dive in. We'll pick up where we left off and see how she's been doing. So, we left off with giant cheese shell burritos, and the thing of the last week was kind of the sponsorship stuff with Coldest. She got a sponsorship, people sent stuff to the company, they took the sponsorship back, and then they gave it back to her, and they apologized, and all sorts of stuff like that. So, where we pick up now is, good God, Korean mukbang, spicy sweet fried chicken, it's so long it cuts off, with cheese Alfredo and corn cheese. So, in the thumbnail it says Scandal Affair, so I'm preparing myself for one of Chantal's stories, like the French lover, or, the homeless guy, like one of her torrid affairs. She's dyed her hair to cover the gray, which was probably about that long. I was surprised she let it go that long, because she keeps up her appearance. Well, she either looks great or doesn't, usually. There's no in the middle with Chantal. She mentions during the Beauty Bite that Trisha Paytas had mentioned and said Beauty Bite. So she was very happy about that she was acknowledged, and that means Trisha Paytas watches her videos. Look, we all have our own heroes, okay? I don't want to take away from Chantal that someone she looks up to, for whatever reason, acknowledged her and made a big deal, not a big deal actually, about mentioning Chantal. So if Chantal's excited about that, she should have that. That should be hers to be excited about. I'm not going to pass judgment on that out loud. So that's kind of going on with her. The scandal she's talking about is at an old workplace that she was in. It was a call center in her hometown. Pete's worked there as well. It was right when they had started dating. And the scandal was between 2 other co-workers. So she really wasn't inserted into this whole thing that was going on. It was an inter-office affair. Chantal's connection, besides being the person who worked there, was that the woman who was part of the affair had some contact with Chantal's French lover. So I guess it did all come full circle. And that was pretty much it. That was the story. So next, we had easy, I have it up here, easy homemade butter chicken recipe. These are so long. And mukbang eating show. So she timestamps the mukbang, so people who just want to see her eat can go right there. And she shows the cooking, or the preparation. I like cooking and preparation. I will watch anyone prepare food. Whether it's got 1 million views or 5, I will watch somebody cook. So this I liked. This was good for me. And I like Indian food, because I don't know how to cook it. It's got too many damn ingredients for me to make well. I usually just order out. So, she's still working on the background. She promises hotel mukbangs, because she said in previous videos she's going to be going out of town for 1 night, maybe 2, to her hometown to see a friend, or a few friends, I guess, and she plans to stay over. So she promises to eat in the hotel. As she's starting to eat, BB's in the background. He's playing video games. And he's talking, and she's trying to talk to him, and she's trying to it seems like she's trying to get him to shut up. She's like, hey babe, what are you playing a game? Well, that's great, that's good. You know what else is good? My food. Almost a direct quote, I swear. So she's talking, and he's still making noise in the background. Now, I gotta say, to the extent that this is Chantal's job, it's her job. Whatever. She works from home. Him carrying on in the background, I thought was a little maybe disrespectful. But that comes from a position that a mukbang even deserves respect. Or that she deserves respect while she's doing one. So there's a couple sides to that I can appreciate. And At any rate, she had to cut it a few times. And then she was like, you can't use that language. Like, it seemed like she was constantly distracted by him, or that he just didn't care that she was trying to do something. I don't know. Just my observations. That's all. She did give a health update. She's healing well. She said the biopsy results after the stuff they took out, she had a hysterectomy, a full hysterectomy, was non-malignant. So that's good. She's not going to die from that right now, or maybe ever. And she talks about cooking food, about how there's something almost spiritual because she's prepared this butter chicken, and how it's, you know, a more visceral, I guess, experience. Now, it's not, I cook almost every night because we don't order out much. You know, we don't do Uber Eats, and we don't order from restaurants, and it's more practical for us to cook at home. So it's certainly spiritual, but it's not an uncommon spiritual experience for those of us who, you know, feed families or feed ourselves. And she's admitted as much, that the money that comes in from YouTube goes out on the food that she eats on YouTube, and it kind of comes on a loop. So I don't know. I don't think most of us eat out as often as she does, so it's not as rare an experience to prepare your own food. But I agree with her that it's spiritual. There is something nurturing about it. So this is supposed to be her huge meal of the day. And then she's still telling the story at this time that she's eating healthy otherwise. So she pulls out this big-ass bottle, and it's got like all sorts of nutritional ingredients, and it's got seaweed and spirulina and algae and whatever, keratin, who knows. And that's supplementing her diet for when she's not eating this, you know, large amount of food. So she said one thing at the end of it that made me think, food issue, food issue, food issue, as if it wasn't obvious. She said that the butter and the cream, which is what makes butter chicken good, might have upset her stomach because it has before. So she prepared a dish that she knew would taste delicious, but might make her sick. There's a disconnect there, I think. I mean, a lot of people will say, oh, I'm lactose intolerant, but the ice cream was so good. And there's levels of that, which is why eating issues, I think, are more on a spectrum than, you know, either you have them or you don't. But it's questionable to prepare a meal and then eat something on the chance that it might make you ill just because it tastes good. Again, on a spectrum. That's not saying that that's a red flag that there's a food issue. But when you pile it together with her other food issues, it kind of fleshes out a portrait a little bit more. I'm willing to feel disgusted afterwards if it can feel good now. So then there's a community post she puts up, and it's a ranking about what kind of content do you guys want to see. And the one that gets the most is weight loss related content, and all the other ones are just little percentages. So that catches her, and then she starts posting a video sharing some thoughts. Not the first thing I noticed, but she has a black background, her new mukbang background, and she's in front of it. She colored her hair 2 days ago, and somehow it looks like it's gray again. So I don't understand timing very well, I guess. I guess or maybe I didn't see it correctly. Marc, in the background, of course, he's here watching, goes, God, her makeup is perfect. She does a good face of makeup. I'd never take that away from her. Sometimes it's a little heavy, but I should say nothing. She does good makeup. She's talking about being upset, being depressed, how BB doesn't understand. People who don't suffer with it don't understand. No, they don't. But the better part of my support circle knows. I tell them I don't feel well, and they offer their support. I also don't burn them out in fake crises. She talks about depression, how her food addiction, she feels like it's winning. She tries to pretend she doesn't have it sometimes. It's unfortunate because I think it's like glaringly obvious to pretty much anyone who watches her, and not just haters. I think people that support her kind of know she's got some food issues, and I think their thinking is she'll figure it out in her own time, and other people shouldn't be cruel to her in the interim. That's a feeling I get. And then there's the feeders who are like bottoms up. She says part of it's like not knowing how to get help. She is getting help from a psychiatrist at an eating disorder center, but she says there's not bias exactly, but sort of, against people with overeating, food addiction, binge eating disorder, because most eating disorder care is for individuals who have anorexia or bulimia or something like that. So she doesn't feel like there's a place for her to get help. The mental health care she'd have to pay separately for CBT therapy. I'm not familiar with I know you know, in the States, the thinking for socialized medicine is that everything and anything is covered at the drop of a hat. But she said you had to pay for the mental health care. I don't know. I can appreciate the helpless feeling of not being able to get into treatment. I have a history with eating disorders too. Overeating, certainly, because I was obese, but also pretty much binging and purging. I was bulimic for the better part of it. And I'm a guy. Try to be an overweight 28-year-old male and get into an eating disorder unit. It's not, I can appreciate the difficulties accessing treatment. At the same time, nobody pulled my head out of the toilet. I had to do that myself. So there is responsibility. Chantal seemed to imply that there's more responsibility on the part of an overweight person with an eating disorder to get themselves out of it than a person with anorexia or bulimia, and that it's more medically urgent for those folks than it is for someone with obesity. Well, Chantal's been obese for like 25 years. You can't stay underweight that long, you'll starve to death. You know, I would have ruptured my esophagus. So I see her point, but I don't buy the part. We're all responsible for our own recovery, and we have to do with the resources that are available. I went to outpatient therapy, individual, and I saw a nutritionist because that's all I could find. And then the rest of it, you have to kind of find resources within yourself. So she's talking about systems issues with healthcare and mental health care, and she's right about a lot of it, but we can't sit around and say stay sick just because of that. Don't trip on my soapbox, by the way. She's still processing emotions from surgery. I'll give her that. I'm not going to pretend to understand what she's feeling because I'm a guy. It's not on my radar. She was going to film a McDonald's mukbang, smothered in mayonnaise. She decided not to. The weight loss votes were higher for her. She said she felt like a fool filming it, and she's going through her cycle now, and she hopes it catches this time. I can appreciate that she will keep trying, but she's going to have to do something different if she wants to actually... Change means change means change. I'm no poet. I've heard that 1,000 times. Change means change. You have to do something different. She said she's watched Life by Jen, who had shared about binge eating and the feelings of being defensive about it and dealing with the demons. And then she also mentions that Life by Jen and Amy's Life Journey are doing a weight loss challenge. I follow Life by Jen. I don't follow Amy's Life Journey. So we'll see, you know, sometimes one person motivating another might be good. Chantal said, like, hey, good luck, pretty much, that it would be hard. And then she kind of just talks about her weight issues in general. She says very freely that she does mukbangs because it's easy content and easy money. I imagine getting to eat large amounts of food with those two things justifying it probably motivates it too. I would suspect. I don't know. But after the first of the year, going back to the weight loss doctor, food journal, wants to go to her GP to get referred for weight loss surgery. So we're back into this. She doesn't want to go to, she said AA, I think she meant OA, Overeaters Anonymous. At the beginning of my drug and alcohol recovery, I went to AA religiously, and I don't regret that I did that, but I also don't go to AA now, and I don't regret not going. So sometimes things that are helpful at one point aren't at another. So if she doesn't want to go, I don't blame her, but eating issues don't go away just because you refuse treatment. So, you know, she'll find something that works for her, or she won't, and she'll, you know, stay heavy. So she goes through all that. Next video, a not so happy New Year live stream. Now we're treading into deceptive waters. So she says she's feeling, it's like a 10-minute live stream. She's feeling down. She made plans a month ago, rented the hotel room, that I remember, for a couple nights. She was going to have a nice dinner with her family and then go to a party afterwards. Well, which is why she got the hotel room. Now she said she was starting to feel down and anxious and didn't want to go to her friend's party and just wanted to go home and wanted to be with BB and her cats and so sad she's alone in her hotel room. Next, there's an hour live stream. Live with a mystery guest. And within the first few minutes, is that Pete's? Pete's is in the hotel room with her. He's splitting the room with her. 2 beds. Chantal said BB doesn't mind, doesn't care. You know, so to me that says between her and BB there's a lot of trust and a lot of communication, or BB just doesn't give a flying fish what she does, who she does it with, because he's not that invested. So that's between the two of them what's going on, but I feel like it would have to be one or the other. I don't know. I asked Marc, I said, how would you feel about me spending the night? He's like, not with an ex. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't be comfortable with it either if you stayed in a hotel room with your ex. It just, if it was an ex-girlfriend, sure. I wouldn't mind about that. But not an ex-boyfriend. Not like that. And if there's nothing wrong with it, there's no reason to make up a lie about it. I mean, I have questions. Was the original story about the girls' party a lie? And then the truth is that the whole plan was just that her and Pete's were going to spend a couple nights in a hotel. Did Pete show up last minute? Pete doesn't drive, so I mean, he must have came with her. I would think so. Or was, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much going on. But the bottom line is that she was alone for a hot minute after dinner with her family, and then she spent the rest of the night with Pete's. So I don't know about any crocodile tears about feeling alone. She said she'd rather, be with BB and her cats or be alone. That doesn't say much about Pete's showing up. I guess. I guess. So, I don't know. She hemmed and hawed about not wanting to flake out on her friend, not wanting to go out. Now, in the middle of this, what could have been a giant lie, she did say something that I thought was kind of made a good point. She said she was feeling socially anxious. She didn't want to go out and be in certain situations. And Marc is going along with this saying, I do that. I get that. I feel that. So even if she's explaining emotions on a story that's complete crap, she's relating some stuff that I can identify with. She said she felt tired and she felt fat. I think the bottom line, if there was such a party happening that she didn't go to, and I think even if this wasn't the case tonight or that night that it's come up before, I think she's embarrassed because she's fat. I think she's just embarrassed to go places because she's fat. She was probably worried about going to Costco, which we'll get to in a minute, because it's trouble walking. She's out of breath. She's huffing and puffing. She's probably larger than the last time she has seen a lot of her hometown friends. We've seen pictures over a period of time. She has gained weight. There's friggin' video of it. And I think it embarrasses her. I think she's a little bit ashamed. And I don't think she wants to show herself to people for fear of being judged for it. Despite what she said in the video, despite all her body positivity, she feels ashamed of herself. I get that. That sucks. It does suck. And you know what? Getting thin doesn't get rid of that. That's like a confidence thing. That's like a self-esteem sort of thing. I know plenty of big folks that could give a flying crap and would go to any party and would walk a runway. Because it's not about their weight, it's about how they feel about themselves. And I know plenty of thin people that drape themselves in sweatshirts in July because they hate their bodies. So it's, people's is people's in that way. But, yeah, I think she's just embarrassed because she's, fat. Let's see. So she goes into, she's apologized. Let's see, where did we get to? I'm lost. Depressing vlog. 2020. Depressing New Year's 2020. So she introduces Pete's, and that was an hour live stream, and I wasn't watching it. So, Depressing New Year's 2020, the hotel room tour. She's going to work on her health, and one of these years, it'll click. The longer it takes to click, the fewer years you'll have to roll the dice. Didn't want to flake on her friend. She did. This is like the night and then the next day. So in this video, she's not talking too much about Pete's being there, and then the next day he's in bed. So, God, she just goes on and on. She's going to go back on the doctor's orders, eating plan. She wants to document before and after. So she's kind of starting off blogging, like what she would eat in a day, a typical day, not dieting, and then go into what her doctor's plan would look like. So, it's interesting because Life by Jen did that like less than a week ago. She did a normal what I eat in a day, and then what it's going to look like when she goes back. Jen's doing keto, I think. So the timing of that was conspicuous, that she popped that video out right at the same time. I don't know whose came out first. I'm not saying what. I think Jen's came out sooner, but I'm just speculating there. She goes out to dinner with Pete's after they check out of the hotel, and they go out and she gets meatloaf and mashed potatoes, and she says the potatoes were cold and the meatloaf was dry, and she sent it back. Never underestimate the pickiness of big folks. It might seem like a paradox, but you would think people who are really big, and I've been fat, are not picky about our food. We are the pickiest people about our food. So picky, you wouldn't believe it. You think you get to 600 pounds by not being discriminatory. Have you seen documentaries, shows, 600-Pound Life, other things? So picky about food. And knowledgeable, usually, about food. If I was going to go out fine dining, I would probably go out with Chantal, because she loves food. She knows about food. She's knowledgeable. Not in a healthy way, but if I want someone to show me around, I would probably let her take me to a restaurant. So, anyway. Yeah, I'm also kind of like, I hate people that send stuff back. Just eat it and shut up. I mean, that's not Chantal. That's anybody. Just, I know. And so finally, she's last video going to Costco. And then there was another community post between the New Year's and going to Costco where she felt great shame because she thought she'd have to use a mobility scooter because she was feeling so out of shape that she thought she couldn't do it. And she was humbled and offered a general apology to anyone that she felt she ever shamed, Amberlyn Reed, for using a mobility scooter to get around a store. So, as it turns out, she goes to Costco, and she's not using the mobility scooter. She did have to sit a couple times. There was a gaming chair somewhere that she sat in, and then there was another place she found to sit in the store. And she's basically buying a bunch of health food. Pretty much. Beans, black beans, all the crap that I would buy at the start of a diet that I'd end up giving away or throwing out. I never buy diet foods in bulk because I don't trust myself to not waste food. You know, if I'm starting a lifestyle change, I buy like enough for 3-4 days at a time. And then start over again and again. And then maybe I'll start buying things in bigger amounts. Especially if I know, like she does, that she goes off and on things quickly. I mean, what are you going to do with 9 cans of organic black beans if you're going back to go to the drive-thru? So, at any rate, buys a bunch of healthy food. Marc noticed this because you can see most of Chantal. She shows a full body shot in the hotel, and then in Costco, Pete's following her around. And I gotta say, I don't know if is she wearing Spanx? Is it the lighting? She doesn't look as big as usual. To me. And to Marc. I don't know. Good lighting, black clothes. I don't know. It's a matter of perspective. I don't think she physically looks as big before. She still looks really full in the face. Really full in the face. And in the hands and in the arms. But her thickness through the middle didn't look so much. Not that she cares what I care about what she looks like. It was just an observation. And Pete started talking, and Marc off the bat said, "Oh God, he's gay. He is so, so gay." So that's all we have for the review of this week. Now, I don't know how long in her own identified cycle, which she called it as much, we're going to be going on with a lifestyle change and the doctor's plans and any stabs at weight loss. If she could turn and change her mind tomorrow, catch an attitude about people who are supportive of weight loss journeys, and go back to the body positive bit. So there's no telling which direction this is going to take. Almost always things come back to eating on camera, and she already alluded to as much. Even going back on her doctor's plan, she said, if I do eat, it'll be social, it'll be within my calorie limit, or da-da-da. So there's already an in to go back to eating on camera. There will always be a reason to do that. And she's never found a way to balance doing that with losing weight or sticking to any sort of plan. So, I don't know. I guess it's not a matter of when she'll change her mind. Not a matter of if, it's when. How fast. Because they were coming really close together. I mean, the one was like 6 hours apart where she changed her mind. So, we'll see. I don't know. I have to say, again, this was not the harshest week for her that I had. I don't care for the amount of lying and deceiving that was done. Because that was straight to her, like, viewers, subscribers. I mean, that wasn't cute deceptive. That was, like, really manipulative deceptive. Not okay. Glad she apologized, but it rings pretty hollow. So, that aside, good luck with your weight loss journey. I hope it lasts till more than Wednesday. I'm pulling for you. I'm pulling for you again. New year. Stay positive. You're certainly an underdog, but wouldn't you be a wonderful turnaround story? So hang in there, Chantal. So thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button. You can follow Marc and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and contact information's all listed below. Thank you all for watching, and we will catch up with you all tomorrow. Bye.